You guys see the title again, so you know what's up. Coming out. So, I'm gay. I mean, pretty obvious at this point. I mean, that'd be kind of weird if not. But, so, I'm gonna finally talk about it. And one of the reasons why I never really talked about it or wanted to make this video is because I never really felt like it was appropriate for me, honestly. Because I literally never had a problem. Nobody ever gave me a problem with this. I had probably one of the easiest coming out stories ever, really. But I guess that's also probably why I should talk about it, because I never had a problem, and you don't hear about that all the time. So, let me begin. Growing up, I was never one of those people that said I always knew I was different. No, like, I didn't really feel that different, and actually, like, I've always been a huge romantic, as you guys have seen. Literally, I was always writing cards and giving flowers and gifts to, like, lots of pretty girls, even when I was 4 years old. That's just, I'm a huge romantic. That's just how I am. I love all that sappy bullshit, honestly, but it's true. That's how I am. I did a lot of stuff like that, and I never really noticed anything until, yeah, I guess about middle school. I mean, I started feeling a little different because people were sort of venturing on these sexual experiences that I really never had done. Like, people would talk about even like making out and hooking up in middle school, and I would just kind of sit there like, this is a little bit uncomfortable for me. And like, people would say, did you kiss a girl? I'd be like, yeah, totally did that. No, I didn't. And I was just kind of like, it's not something I really wanted to pursue in any way. And I didn't really feel different growing up, but looking back, I was. And I can understand that. I had a best friend, my absolute best friend since we were 4 years old growing up. He was awesome. Like, we were inseparable. We did so much cool stuff, and we always adventured, slept over, talked for hours, played video games. We literally hung out every single weekend. And when we got to middle school, I just became a jerk. I became a jerk to him. Like, I started pushing him away for no reason. I found any excuse I could to cut him out of my life. I didn't talk to him the same. I treated him really badly, and looking back, I'm like, Felipe, like, you were such a jerk. And I never really understood why until now, in reflection on it. I'm like, I liked him. No, I loved him. I loved being with him. I loved spending time with him. I loved that one-on-one conversations that we had. I loved all of that, and I realized that that's what I was running from. I was not running from him, but I was running from myself. And I remember once I got to like 15, and then it was really weird because like I had one girlfriend, and I was going on a couple dates here and there. I took dates to dances and stuff like that, and I romantically still found girls very pretty, but it was confusing. It was a lot of inner turmoil. It was so much just me like laying in my bed like, I don't really know what to feel or what's going on, honestly. Like, why am I like this? And I started to figure something out. I mean, I started feeling things like attractions and feelings for guys. I remember I went online on like all these apps, like just like chat rooms, and like, hey, does anyone out there like me? Very typical of a lot of kids to do that, and that's what I did. And I wasn't comfortable. Like, when people would start messaging me, I get kind of freaked out, like, oh man, like, what am I doing? Like, who am I? And so much inner turmoil. The whole struggle was me inside in my head. And I finally got the courage to meet somebody that we had chatted, which it's always, you guys gotta be careful meeting people online, but people do it all the time nowadays. Hey, that's how Meno and I met. But anyways, so I met this person online, and it was strictly sexual. We like hooked up in a bathroom stall, like literally in private. And afterwards, when we said goodbye, I went and I just wept. I cried so much. I was disgusted with myself. I was breathing like, I couldn't figure out what was going on or why I felt this way, or was I a monster? What were these things that I was feeling? I was 15 years old, just me crying after having hooked up with a guy. And I was so ashamed of myself. I was so confused. I tormented myself all the time. And that went on for about 3 years, where I'm like, what's going on? Like, how do I feel about girls? Why do I feel these things for guys? I came to the conclusion that I was bisexual. And a lot of people will say bad things to people that are bisexual, saying like, oh, that's not true, like, or people who say that they're gay after saying they're bisexual, like, oh, you just said you were bisexual to cover it up. I personally never liked that idea, and also, like, I honestly did not say it to hide anything. I was just confused. I really did not know what was going on for probably for several years, like freshman, sophomore year of high school. I just didn't know what to think or what to do or how to act about anything. And I just kind of say, okay, like, maybe I can date girls and just keep this as a secret in my head for the rest of my life. And I think a lot of people also do that too. And then finally I met someone that I had fallen in love with, and then thinking about it, like, I went on Tumblr and I saw like photos of guys like doing stuff together, like romantic stuff, and like being cute couples, and I thought, wow, this is nice. Like, maybe I could date a guy and be romantic with a guy. And then I saw more and more of like coming out videos going online, seeing couples, guys, girls, like being intimate and romantic with each other, and I thought, this is cute, like this is adorable, honestly, like I really want this. And I started, not despite the attraction, I started having that romantic aspect for guys. And then slowly and slowly that whole aspect of girls really just faded out of my life, to the point I was like, I'm gay. And even now, like, sometimes when I say it, it's a little bit uncomfortable for me to say that I'm gay, and I've been openly gay for several years, but I was always very comfortable with saying I had a boyfriend, saying Menno, that Menno was my boyfriend, but the whole gay aspect, I was never super comfortable with it. Like, even, it does kind of create some problems with finding guy friends. Not a lot, but I try not to talk about it all the time, because it does kind of, regardless of how accepting people are, it does make the situation a little bit uncomfortable when you're making guy friends. And I do like having guy friends and just play video games and hang out and chill and do guy stuff. But the whole gay aspect does sometimes get in the way. I mean, really not too bad. It really just, it's be who you want to be, act how you want to act, and you'll find people that are like you in however way you want. And yeah, there is a stereotype for guys that are gay that are more in touch with their feminine side. Personally, I think it's all crap. I think act however way you want. You know, some guys will be more masculine, some guys will be more feminine, some guys will just be whoever they want, and that's totally cool, and I have no problem with either one, honestly. But yeah, a lot of different things I struggle with that. But you know, once I fell in love with someone when I was about 16, 17, I thought, okay, like I can be romantic with a guy and have these attractions for a guy, and I realized that that aspect of girls faded out of my life. And then I started realizing, okay, I need to start coming out. So I started sending long texts to close friends. So it was my close friends, and then it was my sister, and my sister cried. She was like, Felipe, like, she was crying. I'm like, do you not accept this? She was like, no, like, I'm crying because I can't believe you spent so many years being afraid to tell me. My mom was okay with it, my sister was okay with it. Literally, it was beautiful. Like, I never had a problem. I mean, I'm sure people probably talk crap about me behind my back, like in high school and stuff like that, but in terms of like actual legitimate harassment or bullying, never. And I'm so beyond blessed and fortunate to have such a good support group. Your dad, I don't know how it is for daughters and moms, but I know father son, like that's a tough one to tell your dad that you're gay, because I think a lot of dads have a hard time with it, and that's understandable, you know. On either side, it's kind of a tough conversation to have. My dad was a little bit uncomfortable with it, but he always supportive of it. And I think it depends on like who I would bring home that would make him uncomfortable. And because it was Menno, my dad loved Menno, like that was never a problem. And I think by bringing a guy home that your dad really enjoyed, and just kind of have a beer, talk, and like that made it much better. And yeah, the world just brightened for me. The confusion was over. The happiness was real. Like, I could be who I want, and people were okay with it, and people were accepting, and it was great, and I loved it, and I loved every second of it. And looking back, I thought, wow, like, I wasted so much time where I thought that I shouldn't have come out, and it was all stupid. But it was important time. It was time to figure yourself out, and that happens a lot. That happens to so many people, that you have to figure yourself out, and you have to sort of decide that for yourself. And I'm so sorry for anyone who has a problem with it, for anyone who gets kicked out of the house, attacked, bullied. It's awful, and it's really unfortunate, and there's so much support you can get from online. There's so many people that are going through what you're going through. There's so many support networks that you can contact. Really think about it and know that you're not alone. You're never alone. And even just send me a text. Like, you have my Instagram, just send me a message if something's wrong. I mean, I get lots of messages. I try to respond when I can, but I eventually respond to everybody. But yeah, short and simple, I guess, but that's my coming out story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And it's spring break tomorrow. So excited. I'm going to be skydiving. I'm going to DC. Ultra Music Festival, so ready. Like, a lot of great things coming up. So thanks guys for watching, and I love all your feedback, and I hope you're still enjoying tagging along with me on this adventure. Peace out, guys.